Yeah, that's probably not going to happen from us tonight, but we'll see. We shall see indeed as we kick off our second qualifying match here for DreamHack Masters Fall 2021 Oceania Rest of Asia Open Qualifier number 1. We're here in the bottom left-hand corner of the map, spawning all the way in the bottom left-hand corner of Oxide LE. We have our red Protoss player coming out all the way from the Sydney-Aba sort of area. He is representing our very own CranKy Ducklings. He is kind of the, I wouldn't call him the mascot, but spokesperson, representative. There we go. He is StarDuck.
And spawning in the top right hand corner, I was just looking for the copy pasta. Top right hand corner of Oxide LE, we have the Australian Terran player. He is blue, representing Team Opus V. In game, he may be a barcode, but he is Piglet.
I will take this as confirmation that you're signing off in this copy pasta, light.
He's the only one there, mate. What do you want from me?
Yeah.
Jesus
you didn't like ratify it when I first gave it to you. I was worried for a second, but now I'm taking this as a confirmation.
Jesus Christ! Getting
our Chuck then.
So StarDuck has been waiting for like 2 hours. He speed ran his way all the way to that qualifying match. It took Piglet a little bit longer, but finally they are able to face off. And StarDuck has had a lot of time to think over this series and how he's going to approach it.
Or he's just been doing Kerrigan survival.
That's true. It's very true.
I didn't check his match history, but no, he was definitely in chat a little bit. He's been less than ideal start here for Piglet, but not the biggest of deals. Was able to get his natural base up and running with a very, very, very small delay.
Indeed. Oh boy. Meanwhile, StarDuck.
Jesus, Ranger.
Yeah, just kind of scouting the edges of the map just to make sure there's nothing crazy going on here. Meanwhile, wow, shots of Ranger, mate, he got a lot of points. Jesus Christ.
Man, I'm jealous, Ranger. I'm jealous of Malaysia now.
Yeah, Jesus, I was not expecting this, man. We got a lot of points on Piglet. To be fair, makes sense. Historically, Piglet has come out on top in these series, but StarDuck recently has been performing so well when it comes to his PvZs and his PvPs. Like, yeah, he's even won the...
He's the inaugural Demi Australia Open champion.
Exactly. He recently won that weekly event, you know, taking down Ender, taking down Pez, taking down even Oreo. Oh boy. But again, I have to reiterate that PvT is the matchup that he is the weakest in, that he does have to work on. Oh boy. We'll see how much it has improved over the past couple of weeks, and if he can take down someone like Piglet.
Yeah, PvT is definitely his weakest matchup. Hint, hint, cough, cough, Neo in the chat here.
Yeah, Neo, get some practice with StarDuck. Practice. Practica. God damn it.
It's your own time, you know.
Very
standard.
For not a Yaku in the chat, mate. For not.
Yeah, you know.
Oh god.
Look, I'm sure Neo would be more than willing to help StarDuck if he actually had a consistent sleep schedule.
Yeah, I mean, StarDuck, mate, he's on that NA sleep schedule, you know what I'm saying?
He is, to be fair. Yeah. Balls in your court right now, Neo.
We'll make it happen. Meanwhile, we do have a, sorry, I was going to say Stargate. We have a Twilight Council opening here from StarDuck, going for that fast blink, relying on those Blink Stalkers here for that map control.
Yeah, very safe and standard openings coming out from both of our players on Oxide. I don't think StarDuck is going to be particularly aggressive with his blink, especially since he's spending his resources on a very early Robo Bay.
StarDuck, mate, he's been influenced by Nina, by Trigger. They do practice quite often together, and mate, he's going for that Robo Bay as you said. All right, what's it going to be? Colossus or Disruptor?
I feel like the smart thing would be early Colossus, which is why I'm betting 100% on Disruptor drop.
Exactly. Yo, he's a madman. He's throwing down 2 Forges behind this as well. Jesus Christ.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
That is greedy.
incredibly greedy mate. Meanwhile, across the map, he was just kind of like feinting, kind of juking at his opponent a little bit. He wasn't really intending to be too aggressive here. Meanwhile, Piglet, he is setting up at home, getting ready for any kind of pressure, but there's none, mate. There's none at all, because here comes the Colossus.
Yeah, playing this up as offensively as possible. He's banking on Piglet trying to go for a bit of an earlier timing once Stim finishes up with some tanks with his Raven. But as long as he has more Colossus than Piglet can disable, he should be... I say should. He also needs like shield batteries, a bit of a buffer. It's definitely a lot of components that go into defending against this push and going and attacking with this push.
Exactly. The biggest thing with this is that StarDuck, like, he is still active with these stalkers, and if a push did come, he should be able to scout it as it moves out across the map, and then he will have some time to respond and throw down those shield batteries, make that defense happen at his third or natural. Meanwhile, again, being so greedy with his tech, just rushing out these Colossus. I love it.
Yeah, making the best use of his Twilight Council as well, getting charged since Blink Stalkers can fall off quite a bit in PvT. Best case scenario for StarDuck, he's able to utilize Blink to just pick off tanks or reinforcements as Piglet moves out.
Yeah, and Piglet is kind of moving out. I say kind of because he is just looking to establish his third base. StarDuck, he does have eyes on this. He will see the army. He will spot the third.
Yeah, Piglet definitely has the opportunity to push out if he wants to, but one, I don't think he ever wants to push out this early, but also two, it probably wouldn't work out too well for him anyway because of the defensive posture StarDuck's taken.
Yeah, exactly. Like, Piglet made all the upgrades are on the way. 1-1 combat shields, concussive shell. Production is getting underway as well, so he's just slowly ramping up. And I have to be worried here a little bit because StarDuck, he wants to be aggressive. To be fair, you could argue that some of these tanks are exposed. These Marines, they only have stim, so now maybe is an opportunity. Maybe.
They are exposed, but they're also pretty far in the back lines. It's gonna be difficult for StarDuck to pounce on top of them without Zealot charge.
Like, I'm not convinced by this, mate. I'm really, I'm really not.
Nor am I.
Oh,
I am flashing back once again to DreamHack Summer Open qualifiers. And StarDuck was in a great position and then pushed into siege up tanks.
That did happen. That happened in ANZ Champs as well, not gonna lie, on Romantic
against
side.
Piglet specifically, if I remember correctly.
Yep, against Piglet. Meanwhile, there we go. Spotter Marine does spot the main army of StarDuck. We already have a pre-siege here. Scans confirms the StarDuck, mate, you barely have anything. No, the Colossus!
Oh, the Colossus is super exposed! He does not even have to waste a disable on top of that. Couple of Marines go down, but at the cost of a single Colossus, that favors the Terran player a lot more than the Protest, to say the least. So surprising that StarDuck decided to be open on the map like this with his Colossus.
Nice recall, though. He does escape. He does manage to get back home. And what I will say is that I'm surprised that those charge-offs did as much damage as they did. They were able to take out a tank. Now there are only 3 remaining, but he relinquishes map control. And, oh, good. He's getting a 4th, but the 4th is under threat.
To say the least, Vanguard Marine will spot the army of StarDuck trying to go for a bit of a wraparound as Piglet is looking to take out that third base as quickly as he can. The tanks do get dealt with.
Yeah. Oh
There's
my God.
a lot of bio left, a lot of Marauders in particular. Marauders don't do much against charges, though.
Exactly, that was a beautiful fight there by StarDuck. Unfortunately, the bio was in the mineral line. 15 probes went down. In the end, StarDuck will be able to clean this up, but how much more damage is he going to take? The Forge!
Quite a bit more. Forge is very much under threat. +2 gets denied. He will have +2 armor, but yeah, not quite what you want in PvT compared to +2 weapons.
Yeah. What I will say is that because StarDuck was being so greedy with his Nexus and like making as many drones as he has, probes as he has, honestly, the amount of workers that he lost was large, 18, but he's already remade them.
Yeah, he's definitely very far ahead. He has 4 Nexuses, War for Chrono Boost to replenish that. The drop comes back in, and it's going to be very annoying. Oh, started pulling his entire army back.
Yeah.
Less than ideal.
Exactly. Eventually, he will push this away, but the drop could always jump back in if he ever needs to. But StarDuck, he has kind of finally settled down here between all his bases, and now disruptors are on the way. Does he need to restart those upgrades?
Up his AoE, he does.
Oh boy. And oh, this is scary because again, all the tanks went down earlier. There are no tanks remaining. Okay, never mind. They were confused in the middle of all this fire. There are 2 tanks here to defend.
Camouflage. Luring StarDuck into a bit of a false sense of security there as it lures us into a false sense of security.
Tanks that were hidden amongst the buyer, but yeah, they are there regardless. And that was still, I feel, a good opportunity for StarDuck. Again, like the tank count isn't very high. He does have his disruptors as well. A lot of Archons, mate.
There are a lot of Archons. Not a lot of a buffer though. The charge count is definitely lacking. They can't really pounce on top of his bio like you typically want to as a Protoss player. They can draw some bio out of position though. But unfortunately, the disruptor was just barely not in position to get the purification over the land.
Exactly. Meanwhile, a bit of a zealot run by, but what is pushed away behind this StarDuck is taking a 5th base. Like his economy is booming. It's looking so good. His army as well. But again, like on Oxide, it's so difficult to push into this defensive location without taking down these rocks.
Which is why he's just hoping to distract the army of Piglet as best as he can while he expands as greedily as possible. Oh, you don't want to push into that, StarDuck. But that was a fantastic snipe on the tanks of the Purification Novas.
Oh yeah, 2 tanks went down essentially for free. That was beautifully done there by StarDuck, keeping the tank count low. Now only 3 remaining. Meanwhile, Piglet, he's getting ready for a bit of a doom drop, sending 3 full medevacs across the map.
And he definitely does have the supply to spare, so long as he's able to keep his siege line alive, his offensive siege line. Oh, I think StarDuck has a bit of an inkling of what's to come when it comes to the drops anyway.
Oh yeah, just a bit. The drop actually turns around. It goes back home because of this zealot run by.
Man, Piglet just unable to get damage across the map anymore.
Yeah, more importantly,
StarDuck is laughing his way to the bank.
Yeah, like more importantly, like Piglet, he just can't get a 4th base up and running. Like StarDuck has been so diligent with scouting this right-hand base and the top left, and now Piglet is being starved out, and finally these rocks get taken out.
Just another avenue of attack here for StarDuck to push into. Piglet is so patient though. Despite the Purification Novas landing on the tanks, and despite being unable to get a 4th base, he hasn't sustained too many losses. Piglet, I mean.
True. Meanwhile, the shots go off. Oh my god!
Oh, I spoke a little too soon.
Finally, the money shot is there for StarDuck. He still doesn't have too much of a buffer. Oh my god, the disruptors are going down.
That they are. Another couple of Purification Novas do take out a tank, but yeah, not the most efficient trade in the world. StarDuck, I don't believe, has a warp prism now I think about it, so it's unable to really reinforce that location.
Meanwhile, he does warp in that time. No, he misclicks. Oh my god, the entire mineral line goes down.
And that's not the only one.
Oh my god,
forced to recall, and Piglet has so much freedom now.
Jesus
He was
Christ.
caged for so long, but now he's looking to roam across the map, get all the bases he wants.
I mean, he needs
absolute use of this freedom.
Like, this is the move that Piglet needed to do. He needed to finally break free from the clutches of StarDuck and now finally take a 4th base. Meanwhile, StarDuck, though, he dealt with the drops. Now he's going back across the map. What I will say is that StarDuck has lost a lot of disruptors. He only has 2 left with his main army. That
he does. Zealot's not quite in position to take advantage of tank-friendly fire, and this Colossus are very bunched up and yeah, looking like a very tempting target for the siege tanks.
Definitely. Finally, these rocks are being dealt with as well. The tanks, they're trying to reposition to try and keep up with the army of StarDuck.
But again, it just feels like these Colossus and these Disruptors are very exposed. More Zealots have started to come in to provide a bit of a buffer, but they're actually at the back of the army at the moment.
Oh, they're in the back for now, but soon they're going to be in the front. May they force a lift-off on this 3rd CC. Oh, but finally, after so long, Ghosts are coming in for those EMPs.
Yeah, that's really gonna dig into the shields of the Archons, make it a little bit easier to cancel Purification Novas as well, just by sniping Disruptors.
Yeah, exactly. 3-3 is about to finish up. There we go for our Terran player. Meanwhile, StarDuck, he's gonna try and break here.
Yeah, unable to. Thankfully, he notices the siege line though and backs away. He tries to find a different angle, but Piglet is not having that.
God, no, he is not. Piglet, he's been able to keep up for the most part, but StarDuck, he finds a way into the 4th.
Is he gonna overextend? Not quite. Disruptors is still very much a threat. Turn that Purification overrun. Okay. Doesn't quite get the SCVs, but he does kill the 4th base.
Successfully zoned away the army of Piglet. Meanwhile, Piglet, he still wants to fight. He wants to catch the army. It looks like he will.
A couple of decent EMPs, but is it decent enough? The Archons go down. A couple of Disruptors still remain, and they do land a couple of Purification overs.
Wait, StarDuck's gonna get out of here. I don't like this. StarDuck, his army is weak. It's weakened from the previous fight.
He's tempted. He's got the Bloodlust. He's got the Bloodlust. The Purification over! Takes out a tank, which isn't bad, but not the best either. Meanwhile, a lot of SUVs go down too, and Zealot run by. He's actually about to sandwich the army somewhat.
That he is. EMPs do land on the Archons. The Archons all get taken out. Disruptor shots go off, but the splits are pretty good.
Splits are insanely good here. StarDuck miscalculated a little bit.
Yeah, again,
doesn't quite get the army.
I do think he overstayed his welcome there. Like, you could see it, the writing was on the wall. Meanwhile, StarDuck has a massive bank, by the way. He hasn't been keeping up with his production, and that's because he's been taking up. He's going for those carriers. Oh my god!
Ooh, that was the Purification over StarDuck needed just to keep Piglet back, just to take out Piglet's momentum.
Jeez, that was beautiful, mate. Without that, I do think that maybe Piglet could have snowballed, but because of that shot, the DTs are coming in.
I like how you can hear my voice crack into panic there. GG is called, and StarDuck takes game number 1.
GG.
It was, yeah, in a game that I think was never clear-cut. StarDuck obviously had a much better economy, but those were definitely some very messy engagements. There were opportunities where Piglet could have taken the fight and then rode that momentum all the way across the map, but oh man, what a close series! What a close game we've had so far.
Definitely. There were moments there where Piglet was looking on top, like especially towards the end where he caught the army of StarDuck, took out all the Colossus, chased the army across the map. But that one disruptor shot was huge, and then that switch into DTs. Again, StarDuck's economy was insane. He had such a massive bank. He wasn't macroing as best as he could have, to be fair. Otherwise, it would have been a much cleaner game. But regardless, he still did take the W.
What I really appreciate from StarDuck watching this game and watching the games from the last season of DreamHack, I'm glad he's not completely bloodlusted. Like, he doesn't go completely berserker mode. He did want to end the game. He did want to engage Piglet, but he recognized that it wasn't going to be a favorable trade for him, so he was just going to... So he was more than willing to just contain Piglet as he expanded back home.
Definitely.
I'm not saying that character survival helped him not be bloodlusted, but that's my theory for now until we can do further tests.
Man, it didn't help him, man. What are you on about? What are you...
Alrighty, as we continue our best of 5 qualifying match here on Lightshade LE. In the bottom right-hand corner map, starting all the way in the bottom right-hand corner, we have our red Protoss player coming down from the land of Sydney Aber, that sort of area. He is going to be representing our very own CranKy Ducklings. I forgot that we are in a different scene, but I should do that for some point. He is the Duck of the Stars. Everybody spam your chucks for StarDuck.
And spawning in the top left-hand corner of Lightshade LE, we have the Australian Terran player. He's blue, representing Team Opus V. It is Piglet. Oh boy.
Oh boy. And yeah, I wonder how players are going to switch things up here. Piglet, I think, was making the right... He had the right... His plan was definitely very, very sound in game number 1. It's just, unfortunately, he wasn't quite able to break out of StarDuck's contain for the longest time. And there's definitely an opportunity for him to take this map if StarDuck does something similar, especially if he is a bit more active in his harassment and his drops.
Mate, I understand that you're struggling to find the words here. Let me find them for you. StarDuck, mate, he just claps some cheeks, mate. He's proving everyone wrong in the chat. I don't know if you saw the predictions, by the way. It's like 91% for Piglet and 9% for StarDuck. I looked at that and I'm like, mate, what the hell is going on? We all know that StarDuck is the favorite, and that is why he's already up in this series.
Pez is about to remake all of them.
Let's go.
And maybe more. Yeah, that's what I get for trying to be diplomatic, I guess.
Oh god. Nah, I mean Piglet, he's okay, I guess. He's a pretty good player. But we were talking about it before, right? Obviously Piglet has the historic advantage over StarDuck, but StarDuck has been practicing hard. All of our players have been practicing hard for DreamHack, for ANZ Champs. And if you did watch ANZ Champs, you'll remember that both StarDuck and OCE, they felt like they kind of underperformed, like they weren't able to show their full form, and that is what we're seeing here today. I mean, it's still early on, it's still best of 5, but to have that 1-0 lead's gotta feel so good. Already StarDuck, mate, the Adept delays the natural base as well. Oh my god.
He's a Cloud9 right now. We need to get him back to Earth.
Jesus.
Play out his series.
Yeah, I thought you were gonna go for like Will Smith or Independence Day or something with that, but hey. Meanwhile, once again, 2 games in a row, StarDuck is going for the same opener, is going for those Blink Stalkers.
Yeah, it's just a nice, safe, and versatile opening in PvT. It's really either Stargate Phoenix first or Twilight Council Blink Stalkers first, because those are both the openings and the units that you can use to be safe defensively, but also get a little bit of harassment and scouting information across the map.
Yeah, exactly. There's so much you can do with them. Even last game, like, he only had 4 Stalkers in total, if you recall, and all he did was just maintain map control, kind of scare his opponent a little bit, and then get into those fast Colossus, right, ASAP. Are we going to see the same thing 2 games in a row? Honestly, I hope not. At that point, you become a little bit more predictable, and then Piglet can take advantage of that. Speaking of, Piglet actually going across the map with his Cyclone and a couple of Marines.
Yeah, definitely playing this out very, very differently. There's a lot of potential on this oversaturated natural base.
Oh my god, the boys are here. There's nothing here to help defend. We do have a couple of Stalkers being morphed in, but again, StarDuck was being so greedy with his lack of gateway units, and oh my god, this could start to snowball, mates.
Yeah, he's pulling the boys, and they do get a pretty decent surround in all fairness, but a hot pickup gets them right out of there. 5 probes go down. StarDuck still in a very good position economically, but honestly, being down 3 workers as a Terran player, that is nothing to worry about.
Yeah, exactly. Like, mate, the power of the mule is pretty good. So the economy is still pretty even. Again, because of that, that's why it's so much more important that Piglet did kill 5 probes like that. StarDuck, like, his worker production is just unrivaled. He just doesn't stop making probes. Look out, TY. I guess StarDuck, he's gonna take your mantle from you.
Just as Protoss.
Exactly. Mate, that's what happens when TY leaves to go to the military, you know? Protoss rises,
Mate. We traded in TY for Hero and Classic.
And StarDuck, he dips in, he does see the production, does see all these racks is producing as much as they can. Piglets on a map like Lightshade, this makes a lot more sense, right? Looking to be a little bit more aggressive and hit that timing.
Yeah, the push is definitely a lot more straightforward. It's a much shorter rush distance. And he's already going right for it. The Colossus isn't ready yet for StarDuck. StarDuck might be underestimating the power of the Stim +1 push. I mean, there are no shield batteries in that 3rd base location.
Exactly. I mean, he has to try and slow this down. He does meet the army. He does not force a siege, unfortunately. Meanwhile, we do see a scan. And what does Piglet see? He sees a naked 3rd. He sees a dead 3rd, mate.
He sees weakness. He sees vulnerability.
That's exactly what he sees, but he's taking this slow. He sieges up here on the high ground. He's taking his time. He is giving StarDuck enough time to get those Colossus up and running. We do see the Cyclone come back in. It will be dealt with, but here comes the Bio, and StarDuck has to evacuate. He has to give up this 3rd base.
This has got to be Snowball, right? And the Colossus is out now, but Thermal Lance is still far from being done. There are a couple of Marauders that, if positioned correctly, can really soak up the Colossus shots. And honestly, it's Piglet. He is one of the best micro Terrans in the region. You gotta see him taking this engagement.
Yeah, exactly. Especially with these 3 sieged up tanks, StarDuck cannot engage. He's forced to expand over towards the north side. Meanwhile, I love this from Piglet. He does lift up everything into these medevacs, getting ready to dive into the main. Oh.
Yeah, still being patient as Piglet is wont to do. But there's so much opportunity. He can actually go for multi-prong. He's straight up going for multi-prong.
Oh yeah, he wants to hit the third base and the main at the same time. The drop is sneaking in. There is nothing here to defend. All these upgrades are about to finish up, and StarDuck is going to try and catch the army in the middle of the map.
But the bio is just slightly faster than the gateway units, especially with Stim. StarDuck's going to have to recall. There's no way he can return in time, but he's going to try. Doesn't want to waste his recall just yet.
Mate, all the pylons get taken out, everything gets depowered, and even though StarDuck will be able to defend against this drop, the main army of Piglet hits the third base, and now StarDuck, he is stuck on 2 bases.
And will be for the rest of this game. GG is called, and Piglet ties up that series sideways 1-1.
There we have it, mate. Piglet fights back. And what I love about this is that, again, especially early on in ANZ Champs, Piglet, he really showed off the same style over and over again, right? This like slow, methodical, defensive turtle style. And something that he showed off against Probe, if you remember, in the playoffs of ANZ Champs, is that he just came prepared with something completely different. Like, he realized the weaknesses that he has, and he has worked on them. He has been practicing. He has been working on his play. So it's great to see that here in the DreamHack qualifiers.
Absolutely is. I'm sure they didn't expect to be facing each other in the qualifying match, but they've prepared for their weaknesses nonetheless.
Yeah, exactly. Like, it wasn't necessarily for DreamHack, but like, that is what I wanted to come out of ANZ Champs. ANZ Champs force these players to have something to compete in and improve upon in between DreamHack seasons. If it wasn't for ANZ Champs, I'm sure like Piglet wouldn't be anywhere near as strong as he is now. Same can be said for StarDuck. Same can be said for all these other ANZ players. So I do think that ANZ Champs accomplished what it needed to do, and that was, again, have something for these players to fight for, to improve upon, and now that all comes into play here in DreamHack. As we get you in here.
Yep. Yeah. And a quick little whatchamacallit. I wouldn't say it's the lobby bug, but a bit of a lobby glitch where it just cancels as it downloads the map data.
Yeah, all good. All good.
Getting in. But yeah, just reiterating your point there, I think that is probably the best way at looking at ANZ Champs. Even though it is obviously something you want to take seriously, something that as a player you want to compete in and give your all, it's mostly just motivation, right? It's motivation to continue playing and a bit of a learning opportunity as well to figure out what are your weaknesses, what do you want to work on as you go into the larger, more premier events like DreamHack Masters. As we continue this qualifying match on Blackburn LE. No surprise it was a veto, but I cannot complain either way. In the bottom right corner map, starting all the way in the bottom right hand corner, we have our red Protoss player coming down from the land of Sydney Yaba. He is going to be representing our very own CranKy Ducklings. He is soaring through the atmosphere. I should save that for when we go into 2,000 atmospheres, actually. Oh. He is StarDuck.
And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Blackburn ALE, we have a very different Terran player here. Again, his heart burning with passion, with aggression, showed off in game number 2, but now he's here in game 3, representing Team Opus V. It is Piglet.
Yeah, definitely a slightly different Piglet than we've seen before. He is still as cautious and as patient as ever, but he's also very willing to strike when he sees an opportunity. A lot more willing to strike when opportunity presents itself compared to the previous season of DreamHack.
Exactly, exactly. Again, like this is something that he was forced to do when preparing for his playoff match against Probe, and he almost beat Probe. Like in those playoffs, like that's what
very
was
close.
Yeah, it was so impressive to see Piglet
And they
there
were-
perform.
And they were both in the lower bracket, weren't they? Or
Yep.
am I thinking of, yeah, there we go.
That they were. So now StarDuck is up against a brand new, different Piglets. And because of that, it's going to be a little bit more competitive, right? We're tied up. We're 1-1 tied up in this series. Oh boy, where is this going to take us in the end? What were the vetoes looking like? I imagine like this is where I start to get concerned, because the same thing happened in Probe versus Seether, where Probe didn't veto Blackburn, Probe didn't veto Beckett Industries. So Seether just picked up those wins easily. Like, like Terran play can be so scary on these maps. So I have to wonder what StarDuck has in store for us here.
Oh yeah, those pushes hit a lot quicker. It's compact enough that basically anywhere you siege up your tank is going to be... There's basically no bad place to siege up your tank on a map like Blackburn. Obviously, there are some positions much better than others, but there's still a lot you can do on Blackburn to minimize the surface area to prevent stalkers from getting in, let's say.
Exactly, exactly. Oh boy, so we'll see how these two players approach this map specifically. I imagine we're going to be seeing some more aggression here from Piglets. Meanwhile, Adept unfortunately was not fast enough to delay this CC.
Yeah, it doesn't quite get into the main base either, but it's probably a bit of a moot point. StarDuck already switching things up a ton, but Piglet is moving across the map with his Reaper.
Oh boy, okay, what's gonna happen here? The Reaper is coming across the map. There is a Stalker here to try and deny it, but is one Stalker's DPS enough to stop the Reaper from getting into the main?
Well, with the slow zone,
True.
it should just about be enough. The Reaper's making its way through, though.
He spots it.
Ay.
Dios mío, as the Dark Shrine has been spotted. Meanwhile, the Adept is being a little bit annoying. It does finally get cleaned up. Now, the question is, did Piglet click on it? Because he just barely caught a glimpse of it.
Yeah, honestly, either way, he should be getting a Raven, regardless of whether he's got that or not. It's more of a matter of positioning his Raven.
And what I will say is that StarDuck should be aware that he got scattered, so he shouldn't commit too hard to this, or should be prepared not to overcommit to the DTs, because the Reaper did get in.
Yeah, just turn him into Archons, make use of that charge he's getting very, very early on. He skipped Blink.
He did. He did skip Blink. Blink Stalkers are not coming out here for StarDuck. He's going straight into those charge lots. And again, charge lots do so much better against these tank bio pushes. Oh my god.
My mistake, he didn't skip Blink Light. He's just getting a bit of a different Blink.
Oh yeah. And the DT show up, but yeah, they're not going to do too much. Raven pops out just in time. Only some lost mining time, not much else. Thankfully, StarDuck only committed one DT into the natural. He is able to escape with the other.
Imagine blinking into the main of DTs. How devastating would that be?
The devastation, mate. I mean, honestly, there's potential, right? Like, there's a lot of avenues into the main base, and there's only one Raven. And I imagine, especially because Piglet pushed away those initial DTs, like, he's not thinking about missile turrets, you know? He's not thinking about blink DTs. Like, that's the last thing on his mind.
Yeah, especially if he's building towards a push like this. He does not want to be wasting his resources on getting missile turrets that he doesn't need. He wants to prioritize his upgrades, his units, more than anything else, and then push across the map with a very strong +1 timing.
Exactly. The engineering bay just now finishing up. We should see those upgrades shortly. Meanwhile, StarDuck is getting set up on a 3 bases. Charge is done, and interesting, he is still getting blink.
Yeah, I mean, it's useful as the game continues, so if you can afford it, you might as well get it as a Protoss player. Not always going to use it, but might as well.
Yo, he's gonna pull like a nightmare here. There's a lot of blink stalkers. Like, blink is done. Shadow Stride is about to finish up.
Yeah, he's going to blink right on top of those tanks, take him out, and blink out of there.
Yeah, Yeah, he can kill everything here. Where's the Raven? The Raven's in the main. It's not set up.
Oh! Piglet does scout that warp prism. He wants to be very careful. Oh, but there's no detection here.
Beautiful, mate. Beautiful.
The bio gets taken out. The tanks are gonna get sniped.
What a catch. 2 tanks and all this bio essentially for free, only for the cost of a couple of zealots, and now StarDuck, he is not done. The Raven should reposition, buddy. He does have enough energy for a scan though. It's fine. It's fine. Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Only a single scan for the time being, though. More DTs and zealots are being
Only one
warped
tank.
in here.
Only one tank. Only one tank.
There is only one tank. They blink right on top of it. That is gonna be it for the defense pretty much. This is very good kiting though for Piglet. And the DTs, honestly, they're not splitting up as much as I thought they would. The Raven gets back in position, and Piglet will be able to hold this, but at the cost of 14 SCVs. He needs to counterattack right now.
Mate, all the Marines go down.
Do it.
Like he still hasn't cleaned this up, by the way. The Zealots, they come back in. You talk about a counterattack. Mate, StarDuck, he's looking to straight up end the game.
That he is, and he will!
Oh my god, he's looking to win away. That Cyclone just barely hanging on in the end. Oh, it looks like Piglet will just barely... Oh my god, the more DTs are coming in.
Yeah. Just repositions the Warp Prism. There's no anti-air left to deal with it. Honestly, you just get a couple of Stalkers to take out the Raven and let the DTs do the rest.
Jesus Christ. And again, you were talking about how there was a 1-base push coming. You know what that means? That means that there's no third CC for those SCVs, for those mules, for those scans. And sure, the upgrades are done, but there's only 1 tank left. Like, this is not an army.
It really is not. Piglet is ahead in the army supply. That's because he has Ravens and Medivacs. Look at how little actually attacking units he's got. How few attacking units he's got.
What I will say is that StarDuck has to be careful, because if this does move out across the map, okay, there we go. Like, StarDuck needs to work on his army soon. He's being so greedy, taking a 4th base. His opponent's on 2 bases, and he's taking a 4th. Like, StarDuck, calm down, buddy.
Look, you never want to underestimate the power of mules.
Like, the way that StarDuck loses this is if he's too greedy. Not gonna lie, mate. Like, you gotta be careful.
Really
you gotta respect the Terran.
Very important for him to be keeping up this pressure. Well, he doesn't really need to keep up this pressure, but he does need to have army in position. Oh, if he can intercept this army before the tank siege up. He's going to do so. He has Immortals.
Maybe
this is not going to be a good time for Piglet at all.
He has Blink, though. That's the thing. Nice anti-armor missile on half of the army. Does force StarDuck back. StarDuck doesn't want to take an inopportune fight, but oh god, he was ready to engage one of the army. Meanwhile, War Prism sneaks in, and Piglet does not have the numbers to defend 2 places at once.
Yeah, the DTs blink right on top of the tanks. These Zealots charge on top of the bio, get a little bit of friendly fire. The Raven is still alive. Never mind. There's no more detection other than a single scan. GG is called. StarDuck takes game number 2. I'm so happy we got to see Blackburn. Like,
GG, well played. StarDuck does take the lead in this best of 5 series, but this is still a best of 5. We still have at least 1 more game ahead of us. Meanwhile, thank you so much. Shout out to this player's brother, his big brother, Pig, for the raid.
Man, welcome all of you Pig viewers. You are just in time for the qualifying match between Piglet here and StarDuck. This is honestly, oh, that's a spicy, this is gonna be a spicy rivalry in the chat, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. The Ducklings against the Pigs, mate. That's what it's all about. Piglet, of course, he's here cheering for his boy, for his brother. But his brother is up against the wall, mate. StarDuck, he's up in this series. Oh, boy. But again, this still could go either way, depending on what map we end up on in Game 4.
Ooh, and I've been meaning to ask you this, but it kept slipping my mind. What's an Australian song from the 2000s?
An Aussie song from the... Man, I don't listen to Aussie music. What do you... I don't know. Oh, God. We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out.
Well, potentially.
Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Also, don't forget about your ceremony with the duck that you were planning at some point, maybe?
At a ceremony?
You were like, yo, I should do this on camera with the duck, and it wasn't on camera.
I did?
Never mind. We gotta need to get...
Wait. Am I old? We are going to be continuing our best of 5 qualifying match here on 2,000 atmospheres. LE. We're in the bottom left-hand corner map, spawning all the way in the bottom left-hand corner. We have the red Protoss player coming down from around the Sydney Harbour sort of area. He is going to be representing our very own team, the CranKy Ducklings, as he soars through every single atmosphere, all 2,000 of them. He is StarDuck.
We can adjust chat. Spawning in and spawning in the top right-hand corner of 2,000 atmospheres, LE. We have the Australian Terran player, the brother of the Great Pig himself, who apparently jumped off a bridge into a river? Question mark?
For the lulz? On a dare? For dare iced coffee?
For dare iced coffee? Yeah, I don't think we can say that. I think we're sponsored, mate. We're sponsored. We can't say that about that. If anything, dare would have stopped him from jumping off.
Indeed. Little dare will fix it.
It will. Didn't need that surgery, mate. Only needed a dare. And we have, representing Team Opus V, it is Piglets.
Aye. Dislocates arm. Okay, so he's used to it, is what you're saying. He's built up an immunity to dislocation.
I'm just shaking my head, mate. I'm just shaking my head. What are you doing, mate?
I mean, I appreciate this from Hut here in the chat. I don't think there's any better way to describe it. Hands that jackass. That show from the 2000s, funnily enough.
It was from the 2000s, mate. Aye. Meanwhile, Piglet being a little bit cheeky here. We do have an SCV hiding out outside the main base of StarDuck. That factory is about to finish up.
Very well. Is the reactor on top of that too? Are we going to see an add-on swap around? Are we going to see Widow Mines, or are we going to see Hellions? So much up in the air right now for Piglet. He has so much opportunity.
And Widow Mines would be crazy. Meanwhile, especially because this SCV hasn't really gone for anything quite yet. I mean, still waiting for some of that gas. There we go. We do have the tech lab on that factory. And, oh my, he's doing it again, mate.
Might as well. Are we going to see Shadow Strike once more?
We better, mate. We better. Dark Shrine is thrown down here for StarDuck, delaying that blink, delaying that charge. Meanwhile, again, I was hoping that there was going to be something proxied here, but it seems like Piglet has, kind of given up on that idea.
Interesting. He really wanted to go for it too, delaying the starport for quite some time, prioritizing getting the add-ons on this other buildings first, but yeah, we'll give up on that and go into something quite a bit more standard. He doesn't really lose much progress, because again, he didn't actually build anything across the map, so this is still going to be a normal game for Piglet.
Yeah, I think I like it. You know, I guess it's Piglet adapting on the fly. He felt that it probably wasn't the best idea to proxy a starport, especially with all the aggression in his face, in his natural, so instead he opted to throw it down on his side of the map, and is going for that switch. With this, we were talking about it earlier in the previous game, you know, you should be getting a Raven out, so these DTs shouldn't do too much initially, but I just can't wait for the potential for Blink DTs again.
Oh, absolutely. Piglet is going to have to be even more cautious than he normally is when it comes to being active on the map. Because if there's just a single blind spot where he doesn't have any detection, those CTs are coming in and completely taking out the army.
Oh yeah, it definitely could happen. Meanwhile, that pylon finishes up. Here we go. The first DTs are being morphed in. Raven is on the way, but it's not going to be ready in time for the first wave of DTs. Ooh, Piglet just muled.
Oh. And those mules are not gonna be too long for this world.
Oh,
StarDuck,
God.
targets him now.
Yeah, in comes the first DT. We do not have enough energy for a scan. Raven is about to pop out in a couple of seconds.
And we'll be able to deal we'll be able to deal with the DTs, but the friendly fire from the tanks. 7 SCVs, 8 SCVs go down. That's a lot more damage than I think StarDuck was expecting with his initial 2 DTs.
Jesus Christ, well, not of that tank, mate. Oh my God. Behind this, there we go. StarDuck does not disappoint. We do have Shadow Stride.
I'm smiling so hard right now.
Oh God.
Honestly, the possibilities are endless.
Also,
He could blink into the main if you wanted to.
He could do whatever he wants, mate. Let's be real. So I love Demi in the chat. He's like, "What the hell is going on here? This is what happens when the pigs get unleashed."
in the chat.
Oh God.
I'm just trying to
From a pig,
what
man.
Trying to imagine what stunt Punjabi fireball would be.
Oh God.
Please explain, Caesar.
Meanwhile, we do have a bunch of gateways on the way. Again, unfortunately, this still hasn't been scouted from Piglet. Thankfully, this time Piglet isn't going for a strong 2-base all-in like he was going for on Blackburn. He is thinking about his future with this 3rd CC.
Indeed, he is. Those of the game can definitely go on quite a bit longer, especially on 2,000 atmospheres. What? For a second, I thought maybe StarDuck was trying to free up supply, but
yeah,
he's not supply blocked.
I don't know,
is
mate.
he?
No, he wasn't. That poor zealot did nothing wrong. Oh God, his brethren just turned on him, mate.
The Zealot Union is gonna have a PSA about bullying pretty soon.
It will. Meanwhile, StarDuck, he's getting ready for the exact same attack he went for last game. He is going in with these adepts. He will see the tanks on the low ground, but the difference is this time there are tanks also on the high ground.
Yeah, it looked like he was trying to draw a little bit of friendly fire from the tanks with his adept shades, but 2 adepts are not quite going to cut it. He is just gonna posture around, set up for the actual push. Oh, he sees the tanks are sieged.
Okay, the tanks do re-siege, and again, because of this defensive position, I don't think StarDuck should be pushing in. Oh my God, but he goes down the
waiting. Yeah, he's just waiting
oh God.
for when Piglet moves out, for when he's unsieged with all of his tanks, when he can fight him on even ground. Look how exposed they are! Charge is finished!
Oh my God, charge is done. The DTs and the Zealots are coming in. The Raven is still alive, so he does have detection here, but the tanks, they're dead, mate. They're gone.
The Immortals absolutely chewing through that. The bio is still alive and will spell disaster for the Immortals and the Zealots, but the tanks have gone down. 5 tanks taken out just like that.
Jesus, mate, that's disastrous. Piglet, he's in such a hard position here. He does have a lot of bio, but again, the charge, let's get warped in. We have 1 tank remaining here on the high ground, but behind this, mate, StarDuck doesn't care. He's got a 4th base.
He's saturating that. He's just continuing to warp in from his 4th pylon. Unfortunately for StarDuck, he has never been able to deal with that Raven, so yeah, that will be a little bit complicated when it comes to utilizing CTs, but even still.
Yeah, even still, this 3rd base is under threat. He's going to push in, force it to lift up, and there we go. Now Piglet is stuck on 2 bases.
Against a Protoss player with twice the base count.
Jesus. And this is what was missing. Stalkers are finally going out across the map. They don't have Blink, but the goal of these Stalkers will be to snipe down this Raven, and then the DTs can kind of run free.
They can see a blink yet. He doesn't have blink on Stalkers yet.
Oh my God,
so it can be a little bit tricky, but the blink from the DTs are actually providing quite a bit of a buffer. The Raven is still alive, by the way.
Raven is still alive, but you know what? The tanks are dead. It looks like there's just barely enough bio here to push on through and push StarDuck back. So Piglet, he does hold on for now, but once again, his tank count was reset.
His tank count was reset. A lot of his bio went down. 9 more SCVs. Look at that worker disparity. It's 3,000 mineral income versus 1,000 right now. A couple of mules got thrown down, and that helps a little, but Piglet, I mean, is still trailing far behind StarDuck in the economy.
Yeah, looking at that income advantage, it's all red, mate. It's all red. It's all Protoss. StarDuck has to be careful not to overextend. Like he's taking a fifth. He's playing like Haas right now. He just keeps expanding. He just keeps taking bases.
I mean, it's not the most surprising thing in the world to hear that StarDuck is influenced by Haas. It wouldn't be surprising anyway.
Oh my god, what I will say is that he still needs to refine his army. Like, where's that splash damage? Where are the Colossus, the Disruptors, the High Templar, right? He's just trying to brute force it with gateway units.
What are you talking about? He has splash damage. Tanks. He's drawing friendly fire away from the tanks onto the bio. That's all you need as a Protoss player.
The problem is that he's killing the tanks, so...
He is. Yeah, it's not the most reliable form of splash damage as a Protoss player, I suppose.
Exactly. Jesus Christ. There we go. I mean, that Blink is on the way, so are the rest of the upgrades. Still waiting on some of those tech structures, but I guess StarDuck, he doesn't need it. He just continues to keep delaying this natural base, this third base, even close to going down.
Yeah, he cannot afford to repair it. He realizes the position he's in economically. He needs to utilize every single one of his minerals and gases to get more army.
Mate, look at all this.
But it's kind of a moot point. Yeah, it's kind of a moot point.
Yeah, there are so many charges. They move on forward. Nice EMPs, though, on those Zealots. And with that, once again, Piglet will push away the army of StarDuck.
And this definitely goes to show how valuable AoE could definitely be for a Protoss player. If he had some Storm, even if he just had Archons, I don't see Piglet taking that engagement. But he didn't, so... This
is still scary for StarDuck, I'm not gonna lie. Like, Piglet's army is still very formidable, especially with these Ghosts and EMPs.
Absolutely is. And he's basically forced all in now. He is not worried about his economy whatsoever. Every single bit of his income is going into this push, and it's looking unstoppable. The boys have been pulled. And does StarDuck have enough defensively?
We'll see. He doesn't have any shield batteries. He doesn't have any cannons. He's going to have to pull his own boys. He is getting ready for a surround, though.
Oh, and that's a pretty good surround. Should be able to get the tanks, but what is his answer to the bio? He has no AoE. He has no AoE, like...
He doesn't, but the wave of charges come in. It looks like it may just barely enough. StarDuck is pushing through.
GGG! StarDuck is your second player to qualify from the open qualifiers to the DreamHack Masters Fall Oceania closed qualifiers. Oh man, I don't think you switched your scenes in time, but I was definitely very hyped then. I felt my hat falling off a bit, so I had to be a little bit what you call it.
GG, well played, StarDuck, the star of the Ducks, the Duck of the Stars, even both. Why not? He does qualify for the Oceanic closed qualifiers over Piglet. Wow.
That he does. He's soaring through the atmospheres. He speed-runned his way through the qualifiers. He had to wait over 2 hours to get to his qualifying match. But once he got there, it was beautiful. It was well worth it for him to continue to stay up and be as patient as he was. GGG.
Wow.
He does not have to worry about competing again until this Sunday when closed qualifiers happen.
Exactly. StarDuck, he can breathe a sigh of relief. GG, congratulations, by the way. It's it's been a long time coming here. And I have set something up, mate. It's going to mess up the cameras a little bit because the camera setup is not set up for 3 people, but StarDuck, he's jumping on, mate.
Are we getting an interview? Yes!
Yeah,
I did not prepare any questions for an interview, but mate! You did it!
Oh my god. StarDuck, congratulations, mate.
Man.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Oh man, you just had a field day at the start of qualifiers. You sped run all the way through. Then you had to wait 2 goddamn hours for a qualifying match. We appreciate it, by the way, that you and Piglet held the qualifier so we could cast it. Much appreciated, but man, that was so clean coming out from your side. Huge improvements all around.
Yeah, like after losing to him twice in pretty one-sided series, I feel like I've started to adapt to his style and I've figured out ways to counter it.
Yeah,
That was definitely very We could definitely tell here just by the way you played, by the strategies you chose. Didn't go for any longer kind of longer styles, I guess I should say.
Yeah.
Didn't let the game go on too long.
I didn't
guess
want
there's
to
a better way of
get to his late game. So like I wanted to constantly keep his eco below the point where he can reinforce that massive like ghost tank bio army.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense, right? Like that's kind of where Piglet is at his strongest,
Exactly, and honestly, even in that series itself, we could see in the engagements, Piglet was doing a lot with what little he had. It was so super important for you to just keep them back that long, I suppose.
Yeah. And also, like, I feel like I've gotten better since I've last played him. Like, I've been in a hyperbaric time chamber training with Kerrigan Survival 2.
Absolutely. This is proof. This is now proof.
I followed the Seether method.
Yeah, there we go.
God. Funada StarDuck in the chat. This is what I was worried about.
He won! It worked!
That's the problem,
It
Yaku.
worked!
He won. That's the problem. Shaking my head, mate, as I try and fix up these scenes. Oh my god.
For him.
Jesus Christ. But yeah, like, do you want to talk a little bit more about your preparation? Obviously, you were talking about how, like, you've played against Piglet a decent amount of times now, especially this year. Like, you were thinking about how you were going to approach him. Like, did you do customs with any Terran players? Were you just focusing on laddering? Was it just more of a mental thing? Like, how was that?
It was a lot, well, just like theory crafting in a sense. Like, I realized I should opt for more like Twilight openers and DT openers because I feel like they work better against like his tank style. He did catch me off guard on Lightshade when he went for a 3-on-1 very quick push, like before the Medivacs even came. And I was being a bit greedy with double forge and Robot Bay. I think I can hold that with single forge and just more stalkers.
Yeah,
I agree on that one.
Yeah, I mean that was also very surprising to us as well for him to switch things up like that on Nightshade. That is more akin of what we saw from, if you remember, his series against Probe, where he did kind of just change things up completely. So it was cool that he was able to whip that out here. But yeah, for you to finally, I think this is your first competitive win against Piglet, right?
Yeah, I think so. No, I haven't played him any weeklies. So yeah.
Oh. How relieved are you at that?
Yeah, I mean, I had the bracket this time to make a good run, so I'm glad
Oh man.
Yeah.
That's been another question. How glad are you that your participation in ESL Open Cups actually paid off tonight?
I mean, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Like, it's also good that I have the schedule to play. Like, it's a bit rough that a lot of the other guys have work, and so they can't play in the American list, but maybe they can play in Korea Cups.
Yeah. The big brain
still in chat.
Yeah, the big brain play. StarDuck, he knew that his hard work was gonna pay off. Waking up early or staying up late. Shaking my head for ESL Americas. It was all planned.
This one, unironically.
Also, in the final map, like, I thought for a brief second, like, I was gonna lose, because he did have a massive bioforce bit. And then once I clicked on his army and saw the 1-1 upgrades, like, I knew I was gonna eventually overwhelm him. It's just mass charge stalker immortal.
Yeah.
Because you can trade versus that army if you have double upgrade advantage. Like, you get shredded if there's 2-2 on the Terran side.
It was getting a little bit worrisome there because obviously like it did force Piglet all in and like especially with the EMPs he was trading relatively well there, but like, we were starting to sweat towards the end, but like you just had such a large economy and the perfect engagement there towards the end of that final game. Yeah. Again, congratulations. And with this, for the very first time, you make it to the closed qualifier for the Oceanic region. Like, what are your thoughts going into that, mate? Especially with who's waiting there.
I just happen to get me a mic in May.
Oh,
yeah.
I bet. It is
a lot of the other people, but not me and Micah.
Yep, you're going to be facing 4 Zerg players, so far anyway, in Demi, Ender, Miyomika, and Risky, and 2 other Protoss players so far, in Pez and Zane.
Yeah, I think I could be wrong here in saying this, but I think you may be breathing a sigh of relief. There's no Terrans in that stage of the bracket, like
Yeah,
Azure isn't there, or
I think even PvT is my weakest matchup currently.
And you just qualified by winning a PvT.
I'm weaker versus like other styles, I think, to what Piglet plays.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, thankfully there at most it's only going to be 1 Terran player make it to those close qualifiers, and honestly there's definitely a lot of opportunity there. Top 4 advance to the main event. I would
I'm just glad I don't have to play tomorrow with only one.
Yeah, God, we were talking about that earlier. Like, I feel so bad for Oreo as well. Like, he was on the harder side of the bracket, and for only 1 spot remaining, like that's gonna be such an intense bracket. Everyone's gonna be back there.
Yeah.
And like there are some like surprising results as well. Like I think Peppy really like once again just kind of popped out of nowhere and had an amazing showing against Zane. Like I'm sure he's gonna come back even stronger tomorrow. Zane as well. I know Raza, he's gonna be there tomorrow.
Raza's gonna be there. Oreo, Azure is gonna come back. Let's not forget about him, as well as Piglet here.
Like,
oh man,
it might even be more stacked than it was today, considering you have to play 1 more round.
Yeah.
Yep.
Exactly. Oh boy. It's going to be an intense day tomorrow. So again, for the people watching right now, if you are not satiated, if you want some more Oceanic StarCraft, then tomorrow in the afternoon is day number 2, is the second qualifier for Oceania DreamHack Fall. And we're going to have more of the same players here, other than StarDuck. He can breathe easy, he can chill and play some more Kerrigan survival.
It worked out for him. I'll vouch for you here, StarDuck, but as long as it keeps working, that's a big question.
Yeah, Funada Seether in the chat, he's like, yeah, play the player, don't play the game. It's like, goddamn. Oh, God.
A bad influence, Seether.
Shaking my head. But the other thing that's really intense here, and I hope you also bear this in mind, StarDuck, is that the closed qualifier is like the day after, right? Like it's all very compact, very intense, like weekend of StarCraft. Just one right after the other. So yeah, still plenty of StarCraft to go.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'll have to see if I can prepare maybe something for some of the Zergs and
Yeah.
I'm imagining a lot of theory, yeah.
Yeah,
going on.
I think a big question mark is also Risky. Risky is going to be there, and he did kind of come back to the game, and he has been practicing, he has been laddering, so a lot of people are kind of wondering like what kind of form is he in, so that's also kind of a question mark. Miyomika as well is a little bit out of practice. He hasn't been able to compete recently either, due to like things happening in Vietnam, so yeah, it's gonna be crazy. But I believe in StarDuck.
How can you not?
Exactly. And with that, StarDuck, did you have anything else you wanted to say to the people watching right now and listening?
I guess just like some of the games in the close qualifier and cheer me on.
Hell yeah! You're all every single one of you watching right now. You're obligated to do that now.
Exactly. We'll be there.
We will find you. and we will make you watch and cheer.
Yes, we will of course be following Oreo's run tomorrow as well. We wish him the best of luck. Oh boy. And with that, again, congratulations StarDuck, congratulations Zane, our 2 Protoss players, to also join Pez there in the close qualifiers.
You know, I actually have a quick question for you, StarDuck. Where's the aesthetic webcam?
I'm not gonna put that on StarDuck. The impromptu interview, like he may not be even wearing any pants right now. Like it's.
Oh, I envy you.
Technology isn't there yet. Okay.
Oh
True.
god. But yeah, with that, congratulations, StarDuck. Yeah, I think we'll let you go now. We'll let you go. As it was a pretty long night. We are hitting midnight here.
Well, I'm not gonna be
Okay.
anytime soon.
Just wake up in time for the close qualifier, okay? That's all I ask. That's all I ask. Oh god, but with that is it for the qualifier for today. Unfortunately, I do have news, and I believe the Chinese qualifier is wrapping up as we speak.
Yeah.
The
players are actually playing both of their matches right now, so I don't know what the score is, but I mean, they've been in their matches for a while, so it's gonna be a little difficult to get in there.
Yeah. So I do apologize to the people that were maybe looking forward to the DreamHack China qualifiers. Unfortunately, ESL did schedule them at the same time as the Oceanic ones, and they are finishing up. So ideally, we would be able to cast both, but it just didn't work out today.
But we had some very, very close, exciting, interesting games to make up for that.
Exactly. Very intense. And with that, we are done for the day. Yaku, why don't you tell the people, mate, where can people find, who are you, Yaku?
Well, I am a 100% authentic Australian host coming in here, as you can tell from my hat and my vest. And you can find me over at twitter.com at Emperor Yakuzaku, ! Discord in the chat. We'll bring you to the CranKy Ducklings Discord server. Send me pet pics. I'll appreciate it. And I shouldn't be streaming, but if I do, then that's going to be over at twitch.tv/Yakuzaku1. Apart from that, where can we find you?
You can find me at light_VIP on Twitch and Twitter, as I quickly show. There we go. Our IDs there on the screen. I do stream occasionally throughout the week, like ladder sessions or Final Fantasy. Nothing too fancy, but as you can imagine, and as Yaku is showing off his jersey there, we are going to be very busy with DreamHack this week, so unfortunately there won't be a lot of streams.
That there will not. I'm actually wanted this to be like a closing shot. I was just getting ready. No!
No! The duck! Save the duck! Oh god. But if you want some more of that DreamHack StarCraft action, we're finishing up tonight, but in 8 hours I will be back. I'll be back with Darking with the second day of the Latin American qualifiers. 8 hours, and there players
the
like
final.
Yeah, the final qualifier. Players like Neo, the Cranky Duckling Neo, alongside players like Shakti, Turkey Dano, Master, Eggs,
Shelby.
all these guys, Shelby as well. They're all going to be there for qualifier number 2. It's also going to be a bloodbath, but 2 players make it out instead of 1. So if you want some more StarCraft, we'll be there. Otherwise, more Oceanic StarCraft in less than 24 hours. We will also be back with qualifier 2 for Oceania.
Yeah, we will. What a packed weekend. What a packed weekend.
What a packed week. What are you on? We've been live every day, mate. What are you on? What are you on about? And with that, thanks everyone for watching. If you want to stick around, we are going to raid another StarCraft 2 streamer. Please give them plenty of support. Don't know who yet. If Vivid is streaming, then we'll cast him, or we'll raid him, or someone else from the region.
Hinton Vivid.
Yeah,
I saw you in chat.
God damn it, Vivid. And yeah, with that, thanks everyone for watching. Yaku, do you have any closing words?
Quack, quack.
Quack. See you guys next time. Ciao.
Bella.